I guess, hey, Collin, on that last drive, and it seems like they're kind of stringing you out a little bit, what are you kind of seeing? What are you kind of feeling? What's sort of the feeling in the huddle for you?
I thought we stayed optimistic all day. Continue, the thing we just stressed was continue to do your job. Regardless of your surroundings, just continue to do your job one play at a time. And I thought we did that. Put together a good drive, just couldn't finish it at the end.
David.
Collin, what do you think about the pace on the final drive? You think you guys are going a little too slow, a little too fast? How do you think about time to get to the ball and run the next play?
I'll have to go back. I know it was a long drive, but we got down there. Obviously they're trying not to get beat deep. It's the end of the game kind of situation it was, just kind of taking what they give us. But, probably could have had a little more tempo. But like I said, I got to kind of go and see exactly what happened.
Good catch.
Collin, this was your first SEC road game against the top 5 team. What did you learn about your team today?
We didn't quit. I think that's something that we can, build off of. I think we, first half and really second half too, we just kind of were stopping ourselves. First of all, give credit where it's due. I think Florida's a great team. They did a lot of good things today. I'm not trying to take anything away from them. There's a reason they're a top 5 team. But if you look at it, we had a lot of penalties. And getting ourselves into, first and 20s and that kind of thing. And it's hard to be successful when you do that. But one thing we continued to battle and had a chance to make it a 1-score game at the end, and came up a little short.
Collin, take us through that last play and kind of what you saw. I know it's tough to be able to go back without actually seeing the tape, but did you feel like you could have had an opportunity to run that in, or did you feel like that was the best bet to try to get the ball to Shai there?
Shai was wide open. I extended the play, and he was wide open, and I probably, I got to go back and look, but I probably could have ran it in or just literally handed him the ball, and I missed him. That is not on anybody but me. I take full responsibility for that. It'll bother me, but everybody did a great job. There was a great pro. Tried to extend the play. Like I said, I got to look and see. I probably could have scored running it or throwing it, and just got to make the throw. I didn't make the throw.
Yeah, Collin, there's been a real lack these first few games of stretching the field vertically. Is that just kind of how the play calling's been? Have you called some plays that just haven't been there? They've been covered, or what's kind of been the story behind the lack of real vertical passing game so far?
I'm gonna have to go watch the film. I haven't really, had a chance to look at it, but just gonna have to see what they were doing. Like I said at the end, you're down, you're up 2 scores. You're probably gonna play pretty deep, that's what they were doing. But like I said, I gotta go look at it and kind of evaluate it.
Collin, what, if anything, do you say to your wide receivers individually or as a group when they're having trouble catching the ball like they were in the first half?
Next play mentality. You say something. I miss throws. I missed the last throw. Dude's wide open. Can't get more open than that. We understand nobody's perfect. Drops happen. We're on to the next play. I thought we bounced back good in the second half. Made some plays in the air, but obviously we didn't make enough today.
Collin, just how tough was it dealing with kind of the pressure they were bringing? It seemed like at times they were putting some hits on you, and obviously that the kind of blitzes they send are, as I understand it, pretty complex.
I thought our O-line did a good job protecting. They got us on a couple third downs, but for the most part, I thought protection was good. We were able to get the ball off, I thought we for the most part handled it well. But like I said, I haven't watched the film, and so I'm gonna have to go and look at it and just we'll kind of evaluate it tomorrow.
Take 2 more big catches and report.
Collin, talk about how you were able to get a lot of your receivers involved today. You had a lot of different people make receptions.
Yeah, I think I don't know how many guys we spread it out to, but I think that's encouraging. That's kind of what we're doing in camp, and just getting it to a lot of guys, taking what the defense gave us. We had a lot of people make plays for us today, I was proud of everybody that got out there, got thrown in there, and just continued to play the whole game.
Last question, Eric. When
Collin, when you get a guy like Kevin Harris going today, and it
Yeah.
seems like he might, have made a case for himself to be just the main featured back moving forward. Kind of what does that mean when he gets things going and maybe puts the defense on their heels and it's able to kind of let you guys evenly distribute the ball a little bit?
Man, I thought for a while we had the O-line rolling. Kevin was running really hard, did a great job in, catching the ball out of the backfield. He did a great job running hard. He played his tail off, played really hard, and I think it was, like I said, it was something to build off of. Nobody laid down, and we're just gonna have to show up tomorrow and go to work and get ready for Vandy.